Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Conch Shell Productions April Artist Chat. And our guest this month is Tanya Perez. Look at her; she's like this.
Yes.
My name is Magali Colliman Christopher. I'm the founder and producing artistic director of Conch Shell Productions, a place where our mission is to develop, promote, present new works by Caribbean diaspora and Caribbean artists. And today you are getting to know a whole lot about one of our Artist Collective members, Tanya Perez. Now, Tanya Perez has been a member of our community since her film, Veronica, was screened at our Hear Her Call Caribbean American Women's Theater Festival in 2020. And today, you're going to get to know a little bit more about Tanya and find out about this amazing new show that she's going to be presenting soon. I'm not going to give away the secrets yet, but hey, Tanya, how are you?
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me, Magali. I'm fantastic. Like
You
I'm a
are
week
fantastic.
away from opening a show that I got to develop with you. And how crazy is that? It was just last year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we presented it as a work in progress reading in November of 2022 at our Conch Shell Productions New Works Reading Series. And now you're presenting it at the Tank. And before we dig into the show, let's talk about some of the themes of, what that you're going to be exploring. That is digging into the show. What are you talking about, Magali? But your
Right.
character, it's a one-person show called Welcome to Clowntown, and you are
Yeah.
playing a clown.
Yes.
And for me, I'm thinking when you first presented the work in our development workshops, which we've been doing since last year, 2022, I was like, clown. And I kept thinking to myself, have I ever experienced a clown? And for me, the only thing that came to mind was Ronald McDonald at
Mm,
McDonald's and
right.
Jack in a Box at Jack in a Box. So that's all junk food related. But I've never gone to a party and seen a clown in person. So how did you get into having a clown as a lead character in your one-person show?
Well, fun fact, I've been clowning since college. So, and in a lot of ways, I keep saying like this is the show that has been incubating in my brain for probably 2 decades now. Like, how does it
Whoa.
look? What is it? What is it? And I originally only started clowning because I wanted to make some extra spending cash
Hmm.
and in college, and I didn't know how to use a computer. I didn't know how to type. I didn't know how to do anything except for like I'm a performer. So I went ahead and literally picked up the penny saver and got a job clowning. And then I go into detail. So basically, like the show itself is a reflection of real stories in a very clown way,
Hmm.
in a party clown way. So the show itself is interactive, and I wanted something that touched on connection,
Hmm.
touched on play, and I also wanted something that was a little bit like I wanted something that represented my life as a clown. Because I did it in Florida, I did it here in New York, and I did it in Hollywood. And all those places were very different experiences. Um,
Different experiences because of the audience, different experiences because of what you were doing in your life at the time,
both,
or dot, dot,
both.
dot, both.
Yeah,
Okay.
both. I think it
Tell
was
us
like
more.
one of those things where there, I mean, it was each phase of like my growing up, really. And I just kept falling back into this, this job. It was really a job for me for
So, like,
many
I
years.
temped and you clowned.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
And if some people wait tables, you clown.
Correct. Yeah. And I did those things too, but the
Okay.
clowning was the one that was actually it was easy money. I mean, it used to be easy money. I think the clowning, the party clowning entertainment industry has changed somewhat, but
Mm.
overall for me, it was always like, well, I can always do this. this thing that I just started when I was like, when I was 18.
So you would say clowning came before acting, or acting came before clowning? Because you're
Acting,
an actress. I
yes,
mean, a lot
acting
of people know you from your acting on
right.
television. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to read off your resume, but
Some stuff. I got to
you've
do
done
some
some
stuff.
amazing stuff. You've done some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So which came first, or did they come simultaneously, or did one lead to the other? I mean, what's your story?
I was always performing. I was performing since I was 3. So my mom put me in ballet classes, so I was dancing, and I danced for a long time. It was very physical. I was dancing actually before I could read or write. So like one of my first performances when I was like, I think 3 or 4 was at Carnegie Hall in a dance class,
Also,
like
you're a New
recital.
Yorker. I
Yeah.
mean, because you said New York, Florida, California, you are a New Yorker.
I was born
And so
here.
you're born here, and so your clowning started in Florida.
Yes, yeah, because then my family we moved from Queens down to Florida, um, and
Wait a minute, hold up, Queens.
like, oh, wait, oh,
Okay, okay, all right. You're from Queens. You know how many amazing artists are from Queens? Where are
I
you
know,
from in Queens?
Flushing.
No. Which high school
Yes.
did you go to?
No, no, no. But
Okay, yeah,
we
you went
moved
to
when I was
Florida.
little, so yeah,
Okay,
so
okay,
I was
okay.
kind of like born. New York happened, and I remember my mom was always like, we would take the subway into the city for dance class, and
Right.
I would fall asleep and then leave my ballet shoes on the subway. So she just got tired. She was like, "You keep leaving your ballet shoes on the subway," and I'm this little kid. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember, but I remember that she would be very upset because ballet shoes are expensive.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even back then, it was like that's an expense.
That's amazing that your mom would take you from Queens to go to Manhattan to take ballet classes. I remember I took ballet classes, but it was just a couple of blocks away from the house. But getting back to you,
I
getting
know.
back to you.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like ballet, your movement classes, your dance experience led you to want to become a clown? Or do you feel as though, other than, making side money, it was still artistic? So what do you feel made you say yes to clowning? Because I don't know if I would ever say yes to clowning, because that kind of interactiveness. I mean, I've done dinner theater. Have you ever done dinner theater?
Oh yeah. Oh my
That was
goodness.
that was crazy interactive. I was like, oh
Yes.
my God, people do this all the time. I'm
And
like,
then
I
like
need a proscenium
clinking of
stage.
like
Exactly. so so do you feel your dancing experience made your creative spirit say yes to clowning, or something else?
I think it was a I honestly was like it was a lazy choice because I didn't know anything else and it meant like everything else felt when I thought about making money, I thought, "Oh, well, it's close to performing."
Right.
And I was at theater school. So Florida State has a fantastic theater program. And I went there and I was just like, well, if I'm going to try to get some work, other friends were serving or, just got, phone jobs or something like that, where they're just, customer service.
Right.
And I was just like, I'll just do this because it's kind of theatrical, but it's very different because there is a I think party clowns are a very different class than what I think we traditionally
Circus
learn
clowns.
about. Well, there's circus clowns, and then there's the very theatrical clowning. They all stem from the similar places, but
Right.
I feel like with party clowning, I just was like, well, I can do this. I can entertain the kids for an hour, and then I can literally leave with cash in hand.
Mm,
There was just something appealing to that where I felt like, oh, I can do this. But I was also in a like I talk about this in my show, like how I never felt 100% about being a clown, because I always thought, because I was in theater school and we were learning about, dell'arte and the commedia and all of that. And I was like, I'm learning these things. So this is a different kind of clown. And then, party clown is just like my side hustle.
Right. Right.
But over the years, I was just like, what is, like, my director. So my director who I worked on my first solo show with, I asked her to do this, and she's like, this is so different. And she's like, these are things I never knew about you. And I've worked with her for like 25 years. She's like, I never knew about this, that you did this. And I was like, yeah, for a very, very long time. Actually, not too long ago. And I still do elements of it. But it was just something that she was just like, that's something I didn't know. And I think that's something that's resonating with a lot of folks who have seen this in its different iterations, is that there's like, this is a world that I don't know about. And I'm like, this is a world I lived.
Right. And so the artist journey, it's finding, human truths and infusing it in the work. And you're not just the performer in this, you're the writer, as you said before. Has your experience as a clown infused any other work that you've written before? And how is this different from previous iterations of my viewpoint of life as a clown?
So a number of years ago, I did a short film called Peep Show, and it does have a clown in it, and it merges, and it's similar. It merges the two worlds of sex work and clowning in a very comedic way. So, I shot it with a couple of friends, and we ended up premiering that at the Women in Comedy Festival in Boston, and we were one of the finalists.
Wow.
It was pretty much down to the wire. We didn't win, and I was like, that's great. I'm just happy to be invited. But and HBO was one of the sponsors, so they were picking the winners. And one of the folks from HBO came up, and they were just like, "This is so different. This is so unique." And I think from that moment, I was like, "Oh, I like the weird and wacky element of having a clown in it." And I was like, how do I use that in my work? Because it is part of me. And this is one of the first times I've actually really explored it in this way on the stage. But I feel like at this point, this is kind of like, here's the clown that pops up. I have a couple clowns. Yeah.
Tell us about all your clowns.
Okay.
Like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have 3 right now.
3. Okay.
So there's Giggles, who's always been the party clown. So Giggles ended up that's my money clown if I was to go to a party. And then I started doing a night clown. So there's my day clown is Giggles, my night clown, which is the more saucy, not safe for work clown, is Cha-Cha Margarita.
Cha-Cha Margarita.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's very saucy, and she doesn't speak. I know she does a lot of I love Cha-Cha because she's just like, she gets other people in trouble. Instigator, the instigator.
Okay.
And
so where does she show up? Does she show up at parties if you do a party, or does she show up in characters that you develop for other work? Or where does she show up in your work?
I have done her for specialty parties. So, in the burlesque world.
Okay.
But she never, I never take off my clothes. I never do anything other than, be very cheeky. I still do balloon animals with her, but they are the blue balloons. I don't know if you've ever heard of blue balloons.
I am clueless.
So blue balloons are the not safe for work balloons. So everything, like, it's something that you would see at a bachelorette party.
Oh,
so all the
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I can let my imagining go. Yeah, bachelorette balloon. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she does all of those, and then you know, runs around trying to instigate people to, you know, like I have a writing crop, I have a BDSM hand slapper, and but I ask for consent. Well, I ask for consent silently, like, and then if they go off and do it at these parties, then they'll go ahead and, you know, I monitor and then I whisk away. So I feel like she's got this personality of, you know, let's see how naughty, not dirty, but naughty can we get, and then you go have fun.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
You
there's
wanna-
Pixie.
Pixie in the movie.
Pixie, well, no, Pixie is my clown for this show.
Ah, don't tell them about Pixie. They have to come see Pixie.
Yeah.
No giveaways. No giveaways. So I would love to know, you are of Puerto Rican heritage. And
Yes.
as I said before, Conchel Productions, we showcase the unique voices of Caribbean diaspora artists. How do you feel your heritage has impacted your voice as a clown, as a writer, as a performer overall, or as an artist overall? And how do you feel that impacts this work that you're sharing with us coming soon? I'll be telling everybody the dates, but tell us about how do you feel that it does?
Yeah, I think it especially I do talk about it in this show, the tokenism of being a Latina, the tokenism of being a New Yorican. And in a lot of ways, I always feel like that's, you know, my family at least carries around that pride. Like we identify as Puerto Ricans, and I have explored that in all of my my shorts, my plays, and I'm looking to do that as far as like what that means, because I feel right now I'm looking to do immersive work that is also in installations. So there's performance in those installations, and I'm curious to what that looks like, because I believe in the futurism of Caribbean art, and I'm starting to pique interest, like how does that transform not only in the spoken word or the visual medium, like is that also, can that be translated into something that's tactile too, and that's tactile for the audience. But I feel like that's because I come from a history of makers too. Like my grandmother, my great grandmother was a maker. My grandmother's a maker. My mother's a maker. The women in my family are makers, and that's from everything from, you know, making the clothes on our backs to clothing that's like designer clothing to the food that we eat.
Yeah, that's exciting. And for those people who don't understand what immersive work means, a short, brief description, because a lot of people are just discovering new forms of storytelling. Give a little blurb on what is immersive work and sweeten their appetite for looking more for it.
Well, immersive work is I want to say in some ways there's escape rooms are an example of immersive work.
VR, right? Virtual reality, AR,
right? Yeah.
Augmented reality. Okay.
Yes. Got it. Those things where it's the audience is not just a voyeur, but they actually contribute to the work. And I'm finding, and there's like immersive, there's interactive. Like this show is actually very interactive, and they kind of get lumped in the same vein. But I feel like right now, I enjoy having the audience also be part of the work and contribute, and also be characters in, and what they leave with. I personally believe in this type of projects, they leave with impact, I hope. But they definitely, I think that there's something that's very visceral when you say yes and you step into I know this is going to be a little different than me just sitting in a theater and watching something.
Yeah. Not being a witness, but a participant.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's really, I really love that you shared that, because the divide that exists between people are sometimes created by not having a firsthand experience with what stories, what experiences that people are sharing.
Hmm.
I'm excited.
Me
I'm
too.
excited.
Me
No, no,
too.
no. I
Yeah.
really feel, I mean, just talking about this, I can just envision a future where there is so much immersion, there's no longer separation, and the room for like prejudgment diminishes to the point where we can actually become human beings on the planet,
Yeah.
sharing similar experiences because we've immersed ourselves in those experiences. So that's the future of
Hmm.
theater, right?
Hmm. I think
Right?
so. I mean, I think in the US it's interesting because I was having a chat with a friend who's from overseas, and he was actually saying like he went to have this experience. I don't remember what country, so I'm not going to just throw out one, but I remember
Mhm.
him talking about how the audience, I think it's New Zealand, sorry, but they had a call and response to the work that was being presented. Like the audience got up and started to do this like as a thank you.
Wow.
And I was like, I want that here. Like how awesome. And we get that, I think, in some places. Like I've actually been in places where like in communities where there's like 30 people and then they're interactive, and then the audience is not just like like a bystander, but they're
Right.
actually like feeding the actors on the stage, so they expect it. It's a wonderful thing because it just, you can just feel how alive everything becomes.
And
And
it's
I do,
communal, right? You
yes.
can, theater truly then becomes communal.
Yeah. And think of it this way, like in the nerdy part of it, like the neural pathways, when you have something that you remember, like I remember this time when I was, in this theater space, and then all of a sudden everyone was like, stomping. And then you
Mm,
remember that. And like, you may not remember this, like the story. Some people do, some people don't, but you remember what the feeling is.
yeah.
And I know for me, that's the type of work I love being part of. And I hope that I can create, because it's just I believe in magic. So I hope that that little bit of magic can trickle out beyond just the theatrical stage.
Yeah. And I think that Welcome to Clowntown will be everyone's first experience of feeling your definition of magic, your creation of the communal space, your interactive slash immersive theater. So tell us more about Welcome to Clowntown. It's going to be at the Tank. Let
Yes.
everybody know the when, the what, the all that stuff.
The Tank. Yes, so we preview April 21st. We open the 22nd. We have 4 weekends, 3 shows a weekend, 2 evening shows, 1 matinee. I'm telling you all the details.
Yes, the details are
But
good. I
yeah,
like
the
it.
detail. But it's really I mean, it's a birthday party clown show with real experiences from my life in an interactive space. And it's not pretty. It's rough and tumble. It's not safe for work. It's not for kids. I tell, leave your kids at home, get a babysitter, because there's a lot of swearing in it. But there's also a lot of fun in it too. There's a lot
Yeah.
of just like, I feel like if you're coming to this show, you're going to be able to go ahead and be like, all right, what you got for me? Pixie the clown, what you got? And she doles it out, and I'm having such a blast, and I just feel like it's if you can, leave your inhibitions outside on the street on 36th Street and come in, wanting to jump in this ride, because it's bonkers.
I love bunkers. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So do you have Do you have any words of wisdom that you like to share with our audience members who are Caribbean diaspora, Caribbean artists who have not owned their space as an artist, or artists who are curious about this immersive thing, but are nervous about it?
I mean, the easy answer is jump in and don't jump in, say yes to yourself, and lower your expectations. Because I think that's important. I think that if you're willing to try this kind of work, I believe that you have to get messy in order to find the kernels of real creativity.
Yeah.
So lower that bar for yourself. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I like that. Get messy. Be willing to get messy. Stop trying to be in control. Right? Right?
Yeah. And I have to remind myself every single day of that, because I'm a Capricorn, as you know. I am a Capricorn, and those Capricorns, when they rear their head, they're just like, no, it's got to be there.
Yes, as am I. As am I. I understand. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna go get sloppy right now.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Everybody else out there, you get sloppy. And to learn more about Tanya, go to our website, conchellproductions.com, and learn more about her as an artist. And be sure to go to the Tank starting April 21st. Anyway, have a great, great day. Thank you for joining us for this month's artist chat. And Tanya, knock them out with your show,
Thank you so much.